Why is this not working now? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome into another edition of Massiverse Live. My name is Kyle Higgins. I am the co-writer and co-creator of Radiant Black, as well as No One, and I do some other creative directing type things across the Massiverse and Black Market narrative. I am joined, as always, by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Michael Busuttil, editor, designer extraordinaire. How are you doing tonight, Michael?
Yeah, you remember how last week you were like, "How you doing?" I was like, "We're crazy busy." And then,
That sounds familiar.
you and only you are familiar with the week that we've just had, where with things that I'm not less crazy busy. Let's put it that way.
It's pretty intense right now. I managed to get a newsletter out today, which I was very proud of myself about, because we have, as you said, a million things going on, including the upcoming Radiant Black audiobook release, which is kicking my butt right now, if I'm being totally honest. But we're in the home stretch. I actually, we're a little late tonight because I just got out of back-to-back recording sessions for some last-minute spotlines with a few actors. We might have some cool behind-the-scenes stuff to play for everybody tonight. We're doing something a little bit different tonight as well as far as platform goes. We're actually doing this entirely in Riverside. The hope and intention is that this will smooth out some of our fidelity issues. And then as far as our pipeline goes, we always like to record this separate from whatever the stream actually is. So we have isolated video and audio tracks. Unfortunately, the downside of that is I was just using Riverside for a different session so I could capture some behind the scenes stuff. And it made me turn off the live feature. And then when I turned it back on, it broke the link. So that means we actually don't have the public chat here to be able to show comments and everything on screen. I have the chat pulled up in a separate window over here, so I'll just be reading them. One of these days, Michael, this will get ironed out, but that day is not today. How did you describe it last week? Monday. This is our Mondays. We do technical difficulties. That's the name of the stream. But as I said, I've got the chat up on my iPad next to everything. Let's see here. Someone's asking whose mic is on. My mic is on. Hopefully, can everyone hear us? Are we okay? I hope. I assume so. Okay. What are we going to dive into today? Well, I think the first thing probably, Michael, is we should probably refresh on what we're working on, what has been occupying our time outside of the audiobook itself. And we'll hit some upcoming release stuff. We've got a really cool issue of Inferno Girl Red that's going to be coming out this week, actually. And then we've got some behind the scenes stuff. We'll dive into some of our hot
We're
takes
doing
from the
some bits.
void.
We're doing some
We'll do
segments.
some bits. We'll do some segments. We'll pitch some stuff off the cuff here that I know I said I was going to have pitches ready, but I'm struggling to hit hit story and pitch deadlines for stuff I'm getting paid for. Much less stuff that is going to be on YouTube. So
Yeah, Kyle, all I would say is I wouldn't prioritize the pitches for this.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot going on over here. So,
Yeah.
Michael, while I try to work on a few things over here, do you wanna run down what is going on this week in the Massiverse and
Yeah.
what we have to look
I've
forward to with
I've
Inferno Girl
brought
Red?
up my to-do list, and what I'm gonna do is just have to censor it on the fly to make sure I don't spoil anything that I can't talk about yet. But
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes, we're just in the middle of sending Radiant Black 40 and Rogue Sun 33 off to Image to get, like, handled and sent to the printer and printed and all of that. Those issues are both pretty much done this morning. They're both very good. I'm really happy with both of them. I'm really happy with how they came out. On top of that, obviously, we have subsequent issues of Radiant Black and Rogue Sun, both ongoing in the can at the moment. Inferno Girl Red Book 2, Chapter 3 is out this week, right?
It is on Wednesday. Yeah.
So, I finished the trade paperback for that a couple of weeks ago and made sure all of that got across. And then, I mean, a bunch of stuff that we've talked about, like Kyle and I are talking about when we're going to schedule stuff for the back matter for the audiobook. Not that it's really back matter because it's not a book, but you guys know what I mean. There's lots of stuff there to take care of. Lots of other projects that we can't talk about yet that are in various stages of happenings.
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good way to tease that. I like that.
Yeah.
In particular, as we talk about and really kick things off here, well, actually, before we dive into Inferno Girl and what's hitting this week, on my side, what's been keeping me busy? Well, the audiobook, obviously. It is a behemoth. It's like 2 hours long. It actually, I think it's over that. We don't have a final runtime yet, only because Sam Ewing's still working on music. I'm laying in ambiances and sound effects now, and all
And
that
Kyle hasn't got
stuff.
my notes yet, so we'll have to edit once we do that.
Can't wait for those, for sure. No, honestly, I can't. I did send you I did send Michael work in progress episodes the other day, and um, you hadn't heard anything yet,
No,
really, outside of
just
maybe
clips
a few lines
basically.
here or
Yeah.
there. Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to those. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff, not only in the Massiverse, but there's some other stuff coming up that I'm doing. I'm doing a few work for hire projects. There's a really big project. Well, actually, there's like three of them on the horizon here, and so I've been doing some work on those. I actually have to finish an outline revision after the stream tonight because I promised I would get it into an editor today. I believe there's going to be some news this month about the big DC book that I'll be doing as a part of the next level wave of titles. So that will be fun. I literally cannot say anything. I can't even like allude to anything other than I am doing a book. It's going to be really cool. I'm super pumped about it, and you'll know more in the coming weeks. So, couple things, I guess, to dive into then. I'm just going to pull up my Google Doc here. real quick. See my run of show. All right. Okay. So last week, Michael, we showed off the spiffy new black market shop, which I'm just gonna totally show off one more time for anyone who didn't see it. We did a fun thing where we let's see, how do I do that? Okay, can everybody see that? Does that work? I
Yep.
think that works. We'll leave it like this then. So the black market shop, which we've had for some time now, this is actually something that we have done a big redesign on. It's far more. It's just a snappier experience. We've also broken it down into different categories. Our comics. So these are all of the exclusive variant covers. And well, sorry, this isn't just the exclusive variant covers. This has our exclusive variant covers in the collection, but this is an assortment of different comics, single issues that we have made available. Some of them are sold out. Some of them are still available. They're marked accordingly. But a lot of these are incentive covers, rare stuff. Things like our Radiant Black issue number 10. This is the Blacklight edition of issue number 10, but it also comes with a brand new cover that Marcelo did that's only available from us, from Black Market Narrative. You can see a nice preview of what it looks like under fluorescent light. But the big headliner, well, actually, I'll just show you. We've also got collected editions here. We need to actually restock volume 1 of Radiant Black, but you can see we still have our subsequent volumes, a number of them available. We need to list volume 7 here as well. And then we have our exclusive section. So these are going to be all the exclusives that we do that are only available through Black Market Narrative. Everything from, like I said, our Blacklight stuff, our foil variants that had really, really low print runs, our massive edition hardcovers for Radiant Black that feature in particular the Black Market exclusive dust jackets and remarks that we do. We also have a page for our merchandise. So some limited stuff up here right now. We've had prints and different screen prints up in the past. These right now are our Massive Verse pin collection, as designed by the incredible Kelly McMahon. And I need to get a banner up for it, but we also have a link to our long forgotten threadless store, which you can see here. And this is where a lot of people probably don't know this, but for the first year and a half of Radiant Black, we actually did an original shirt for every issue of the book. And I believe the products were only available when that issue was out. I'm pretty sure we've opened that vault up though, Michael. So
yeah, I don't know if we put everything back up or just some of them off the top of my head, but
yeah,
yes, we opened it back up. I will also say I'm hoping that there will be some new stuff up for the anniversary, as long as I don't get 6 new projects dropped in my lap in the next week. So there's sort of 50-50 odds on that.
Well, I've got 3 of them that we'll talk about after the stream, but fortunately, that's only half of what your quota limit is. So
yeah,
I think we're good,
fine,
right?
Yeah.
And then the big headliner item, though, is the Radiant Black audiobook. Now, the audiobook will be available on all of the big platforms, your Audible, your iBooks, your Google Play, etc. However, just speaking totally frankly, and this is what I put in the newsletter that went out today, as the creators, we make, I don't want to say nothing from Audible, but we make a pittance, basically. Amazon takes 75% of sales. So as a result of that, and I wouldn't even say as a result, because being a part of those larger ecosystems is really cool and important. And we think there's a big opportunity to reach more people who aren't familiar with what we're doing, especially when you consider, as you can see here, the voice cast that we have involved with Radiant Black, the audiobook. However, as someone who grew up in the era of ripping CDs, and I have a huge physical media collection. I have my own private Plex server in my apartment for all of my physical library. I love owning my own files. So the standard edition of Radiant Black, the audiobook, as purchased through us in the Black Market Shop, actually comes DRM free. It will also come in two formats you'll get in the package. It's a chaptered M4B audiobook file, which is ideal for Apple Books and other audiobook apps, and will include an AAC audio edition. So that's like the equivalent of like an MP3. You can play it on anything. So it'll work on iOS, Android, Mac, Windows, most modern audiobook players. And like I said, it's DRM free, which means you own the file forever. But to go one step further, the version I'm most excited about is also something you can only get from us, which is Radiant Black, the audiobook, the deluxe edition. And this goes all out on the special features. So not only does this include the DRM-free M4B and AAC editions of the audiobook, it also is coming with an audio commentary track from Michael, from you and me. We'll be doing like a director's commentary type track for this. We're going to have a round table discussion with Will Friedle, Ryder Strong, myself, and you, Michael. So it'll come with that file. We're also going to have an interview segment with Sam Ewing about scoring Radiant Black. And we're going to have a 25-minute look inside one of the recording sessions in a segment we're calling In the Booth. So it's actually going to be a 25-minute segment of a recording session that Will Friedle and I did. And this won't just be like best of clips. Like it's going to be like you're there. Like you will watch me direct Will. You'll watch Will find the scene. We played a little clip last week of it. I've got another one this week that we can play. This is also going to come with a behind-the-scenes collector's booklet, a PDF featuring enhanced liner notes, photography, and other surprises from the... I mean, Michael, we've been working on this for like 2 years at this point, off and on, but it's been quite, a labor in the best possible way. So we've got a bunch of things that we're going to be showcasing in that behind-the-scenes collector's booklet, as well as the complete audiobook script, which is like 100+ pages long. So that is an adaptation of Volume 1. I can actually probably show off a little bit of that script in a little bit here.
Spoilers.
That's true. That's true. Although I feel like hopefully most people watching the stream tonight have read Volume 1, so they may be aware of a lot of the big plot moves. So this is all going to be available on February 10th, but the audiobooks through Black Market are actually available to pre-order right now. So you can actually go to shop.blackmarket.la or Radiant Black /audiobook, and you can grab it right there. I'm going to put the link up actually right there in our share screen. Radiant.black/audiobook. And I was able to actually link our storefront with our YouTube. So you actually can find not only the link in the show notes to the audiobook in our shop, in our Discord server and everything else, the audiobook collections should actually be a part of the YouTube page now in the shop, actually on the YouTube. So it's hopefully way smoother than our live stream technology faux pas have been. But we want to make this as easy for you to purchase as possible. So that's going on. What else is going on? We're throwing a party, Michael.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah. Actually, you and I have to talk about that.
Yes, that's on my list
of things to talk about. Can we tease anything about this party, Michael?
I truly, Kyle, I don't know. You know all the details and have basically not told me anything. So what can you tease for me?
Well, what I can tell everyone is that our friends at one of my favorite, if not favorite, no offense to any other comic stores, I love you all, but our friends over at Revenge of, the excellent comic store in Eagle Rock, um, they are teaming up with us for our 5-year anniversary party for Radiant Black. And this is actually like I said, the 5-year anniversary. Um, we threw a big party with them 2 years ago for kid. 2 years ago for sorry, there's some dishes in the background. We threw a big party 2 years ago for the launch of Moon Man with Scott Mescudi, Kid Cudi. And the cool thing about Revenge of is that the owners are actually production designers. So they do all of their own custom fabrication and they go all out. So they've thrown some incredible parties with James Tynan for Exquisite Corpses. They threw an amazing party last year. For the Comics Pro event. And this year, the Radiant Black 5-year anniversary party will also be happening and coinciding with Comics Pro as well. So to say this is going to be a cool one-of-a-kind experience, I feel like might be a little bit of an understatement. I don't want to spoil too much about what they are planning on building, but here's what I will say. Gosh, black lights sure do look cool, don't they, Michael?
Yeah, they do. I don't know how big a one you can get, though. I've only seen the little ones. So they're going to need like thousands of them.
Yeah, and if only there were also a big giant robot that could help.
There isn't, unfortunately. Those aren't real. Those is pretend.
Well, it's funny you say that because if you were to happen to be here, if you were to happen to be here, Michael, I need an editor. Rewrite me. What is that? If you were to happen to be here,
if you were to be here, you would be fine.
If you were to be here,
yes, correct.
Which we'll see, you might be able to meet a big giant robot yourself.
I'd love to meet a big giant robot. That's like number one on my list of things that I'd love to do.
Right? Would number two be finally meeting Radiant Black himself, Mr. Wilfred?
See, I'm worried that this is a trick, and if I don't say that that's actually number one and I was wrong, I'm going to get to the party and he's going to be like, I don't want to meet you. So let's rearrange. That's number one, robots number two.
Okay, that's number one, robots number two. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. We like the priorities.
Yeah.
And you know what? So will Will. And you will probably need to tell him that when you meet him in person, Michael. Yeah, because Will and Will Friedle and Ryder Strong will be joining us at the party for a live in discussion with myself and maybe some other special guests that we're working on now. And so we'll be able to talk about not only their experience with the audiobook and the recording, but also each of them has a really, really cool relationship with comic books and superheroes. And so we'll be able to dive into all of that. Like I said, this is coinciding with Comics Pro, so it's actually going to be the Saturday night party to close Comics Pro. So there should be a number of retailers there, a lot of retailers there, actually, as well as a who's who of kind of comic industry guests and creators. And yours truly will be there as well. So that is going to be February 21st. We'll have a lot more information coming up in the coming days and weeks here. It'll probably be like 7 o'clock, 7 to 10 p.m. is my guess. And Michael and I are actually working on a pretty cool experience for the party as well. And that's where I'll leave it. But I think in the past when we've promised an experience, I feel like we've delivered. It's usually pretty unique. If you came out to our Radiant Black party in 2022 in the real building that killed Nathan, spoilers, they rebuilt it. It's okay. And they rebuilt him. We had quite a fun blacklight night and some QR codes and a whole host of fun in-universe events. So expect something similar for the 5-year anniversary here at Revenge of. And like I said, that's going to be February 21st. I'll have more details in next week's newsletter on it. Let's see. What else do I have here? Okay, I think those are the big headliners. So I guess what we should probably talk about, Michael, we can go one of two ways. We could dive into what we just sent to the printer today and show off a little preview for Radiant Black number 40. Or since that one is not out this week, we could dive into what's out this week, which is Inferno Girl Red Book 2, issue number 3. What do you think?
Let's start with Inferno Girl Red this time. I think we started with Radiant Black last week, so let's start with Inferno Girl Red this week.
Okay, great. Should we show off those preview pages again here?
Yeah, we can show
those. Got some good covers. We got some good covers as well that I can load up here. All right, give me half a sec to get these all situated. 1, 2, 3. And anyone hanging out, I know I'm not able to kind of multitask and look at the chat. But don't worry, we'll do a section for questions. Michael, maybe if you see anything,
yeah. Do you want me to, while you bring that up, do you want me to just address a couple questions in the chat real quick?
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Great, I'll do that. This one a while ago from Space Tech Zero. I started reading Radiant Black a while ago. I wanted to know about the release dates of the next issues because it seems like we have 2 issues coming out in the same month. So you are correct; it does seem like that, but we don't. Basically, the issue is we put solicits in, which are the thing that goes in the catalog that says what issue is going to come out, 5 months before an issue comes out, more or less. Which means we have to sort of 6 months in advance be planning that. And what that means is if something happens and an issue gets delayed, life happens, there's a delay, it is a thing that happens and we can't really work around it. Those issues, what happens is the ones that we've already solicited start to bunch up with the delayed dates for the ones that we're still working on. And what it means is everything looks like it gets jammed into one little period until we spread out the other end again. So basically the position we're at is issues 40, 41, 42, and 43 will be coming out in separate months, 1 month apart. 43 ended up solicited for a month and a half earlier than it's actually going to be because we had to put that in before we knew how delayed something was going to be. It's a long and complicated thing, but there will not be 2 issues in 1 month. The only way we'd ever do 2 issues in 1 month would be maybe if they were the very first Wednesday and the very last Wednesday, if that made sense for scheduling, or if we did something crazy like run 2 parallel timelines of the book simultaneously. And we would never do something as crazy as that. Okay, here is another one. Hold on, I saw another one. At Radiant Platinum, everything's good. I could hear an airplane earlier. That was probably me. I have my window open because it's very hot, and I'm under a flight path. So sometimes there will be airplanes. Okay, at EXP 204, Supermassive 2026, perhaps. We have talked about it in some capacity, but it is not at a stage at which I can promise that it is a thing that will happen. We are, always talking about it. We talked about a possible one for last year that didn't end up happening. There's discussions all the time. We'd love to do another one, but we don't have one actively on the board at the moment. Okay. Lots of questions about the party that I cannot answer because I don't know anything about it. At Fabian Ramirez 7807, why didn't we get Massive Verse Invincible covers? We talked about this last week, so I'll just get through it really quick. They missed us on the email. Genuinely, that's the reason. I'm sorry, we'd have loved to do one. We didn't get the email about it. Kyle, have you got those covers ready to go?
Almost.
Okay. Let me do another one. From at Platago Pie. Are you planning on Jaeger returning? I will say we intentionally did not kill that character at the end of that arc. We don't at this moment have active plans for him to return, but I think if we had wanted him to be able to never return, we would have gotten rid of him more permanently. So keep an eye out. You never know when that guy's going to pop up, and he knows who Marshall is and who Marshall's family is, so he could be dangerous whenever. One more just popped in from Rusty Spider 1. Hello, Rusty Spider. This is a question I had about the audiobook. Will the soundtrack that was made for the first volume be in the audiobook as well? Kyle, we've just started talking about that more recently. Do you want to answer that question?
Yeah. So the soundtrack for the audiobook, sorry, the soundtrack for the first 6 tracks of Radiant Black, which were the first 6 issues, as composed by Sam Ewing. Those are actually available if you go to radiant.black/music. Those are actually available there, and you can download them for free through Bandcamp, or you can make a donation to Sam. So you can not only listen to them there, but you can actually download the files yourself. As far as doing a proper album, though, that is something that we have been talking about, because not only do we have those 6 original tracks, we have new tracks that Sam is doing right now specifically for the audiobook. So there is a plan that we're working on how exactly we want to release those. They're not going to be available as a part of the audiobook right this second, but at the same time, they're actually already available. So you can go get them now. I mean, it's something I might be able to talk. I might talk to Sam and see. Maybe there's a world where we include them with the deluxe edition as separate files, since they're already out there for people to download. But I'll need to talk to Sam about that. So no promises right this second, though.
All right. And a new one while you finish getting that up from Owen's reviews was Horizon's original name Replicant Black, because I remember seeing an ad with the caption, "Who is Replicant Black?" or was he always going to be called Horizon? I can say he was never going to be called Replicant Black. We were sure about that.
Yeah.
He wasn't always going to be called Horizon. He had a bunch of different names. And for a long time, he was just kind of like unnamed Radiant Black bad guy. And we were just like, yeah, and then the guy, and he'll be the guy. And all of the
Right.
outlines said, like, evil bad guy or like villain or whatever. And then we came up with the name. So he did not have that name for a long time. The reason that ad said that is because I don't think we had named him when that ad went out. We named him pretty late in the game comparatively. It's hard to name characters. Marvel and DC have been taking all the single science words and giving them to characters for like 80 years at this point, and they've used most of them. So you end up coming up with a lot of cool stuff and then being like what if, because it's sort of like quarks and antimatter, like what if he was called Strange? And then you're like, no, there's Doctor Strange. He can't be. That's already a guy. That's the name of a guy who exists. And what are the other quarks called? Well, there's a up, down, top, bottom. None of those are going to work for a guy. So I guess it's back to the drawing board. Names are hard. We have to stop putting new guys in our books because it is difficult.
Yeah. But I'll never stop putting new guys in the books, Michael. That's one of the best parts about this. Yeah.
I do know that.
Okay. Should I show off some Inferno Girl Red here, and then we'll jump into Radiant 40? All right. So. All right. Let me share this over here. Okay. All right, so we have here, make this nice and big. So this is cover to Inferno Girl Red. Book 2, issue number 3. This is going to be on stands on Wednesday. Just resize for us there. So this will be on stands on Wednesday. This actually culminates with, or not culminates, this actually is the culmination of book 2. So this is our final chapter here of book 2. Cover by Erica D'Urso and Igor Monti. Let's see here. It's a real beauty. We also have a B cover. Who's the B cover by, Michael?
This is Holly Renee Blakeway. She is an Australian artist. This is her second ever comics work. Her first ever comics work was the sick ornate cover she did for us over on Rogue Sun.
Oh, yeah. That was a good
Also,
one.
I've met her in real life, and she's lovely.
Even better. And talk to us about this one, Michael.
This is Jo Mi-gyong, who is a comics artist from, I think she's Korean, maybe? I should have checked before I said it. And since the day that came into our inbox, it has been my phone lock screen. I mean, for like 2 years, it has been right here, is how much I love it. Jo's done a bunch of covers. She did a Radiant Red variant, I think we put on issue 1. She did a Rogue Sun cover that we ran. She did a Dead Lucky cover that we ran. So this is her completing the set and hitting all of the Massiverse superhero books. I love Jo's work. She's done a bunch of... She did Power Rangers Universe. No, not Universe. I've forgotten what that book was called. A Power Rangers book over at Boom. She's done a bunch of other stuff at Boom. I would love to work with her in some capacity one day. And getting her to do this was a real treat.
Amazing. Okay. So we've got some preview pages. We showed some of these off. We showed these off last week on the stream, but these are the preview for issue number 3. Now, the last time we saw Cassia, Michael, she was falling through a...
She's in space,
what
baby.
was she was in space, yeah. Fell through a portal, not a portal, but outside of the twins basically sent her outside, cascading outside of the force field, if I remember that correctly.
That's bad. That's the last place you want to be.
Right? How exactly she ends up on an idyllic farm with some gorgeous sunlight while being somewhere with no atmosphere is, well, it's part of the mystery of the issue. And who is this genial old gentleman here?
That's a nice old man. He's nice, and there's no other questions you should ask about him.
And he probably is not nefarious whatsoever.
No, look
right?
at him. He's a nice old man. He's making food. He's chopping food with his knife. He's a nice old man.
And that knife is purely for food chopping. It has no
100%.
other purposes. Yeah.
What else would you use a knife for? You crazy?
Okay. This is America, Michael. People use things far less deadly as deadly weapons than knives, and far more deadly items for deadlier purposes than chopping carrots. I think kind of lost that one halfway through.
Yeah. Let's just move.
Kind of like our country. Yeah. So this is again, this is page 3 from this preview. I love the wallpaper texture. That was that in the line art, or is that an Igor choice?
You know, I would have to go back and check. I don't know off the top of my head. I would be willing to bet it might be Erica. She does some textury stuff, but it also very much could have been Igor. It's tough to say without looking.
Yeah. Okay. So that is Infernal Girl Red, Book 2, issue number 3. That is going to be out on Wednesday. I have a really special Infernal Girl video-centric piece.
No,
that
hold
I'm
on to
not
it.
quite ready to share. Yeah, it's not quite finished. We showed off just the video on the New Year's stream. But hopefully by next week, if not next week, the week after, we'll be ready to showcase it in its fully finished form. But moving on from Infernal Girl Red, what else do we have coming up here, Michael?
we've got Radiant Black 40, and I know we've got some fully lettered and fully ready to go preview pages. But before that comes out, there is actually another issue of Radiant Black that comes out. And I probably should talk about Radiant Black and White, right?
Look at that. Of course, unfortunately, your internet has gone like 1G just as you've held this up, Michael.
That's Australia, baby.
Yeah. We got to figure out. Riverside apparently allows you now to pause the upload. Actually, Michael, can you pause your upload? Because that actually will help with your bandwidth. You should be able to hit pause, and then it'll just cache in your browser.
Nope, no button for that.
Nope.
We'll work it out later.
Oh, bummer. Okay, cool. If you do leave the stream and come back in, I should be able to control it. But there it goes. Looks like it's on. Looks like it's a little better on the actual YouTube. So, how did it print?
It looks great. Absolutely gorgeous.
It's so cool.
All
I
sorts
still have
of
not
little
gotten
details.
mine yet.
No. We print these in America, and as you guys know, Australia is closer to America than America is, so they get here before they get to you guys.
Somehow Michael always gets comps before I get comps, which is
That's
a little
true.
crazy to me.
They have to go so far to get to me and so little to get to you. I don't understand it. No, it looks great. There's all sorts of little details. It's hard sometimes, especially with like Marcelo's fully colored pages. The rendering takes over from the line work. That's how you want it to work. But
Right.
it's hard sometimes to notice how many little details are there fully in the line art until you get to do a book like this, and you can discover all sorts of little secrets and details in here. So it looks great. I think people will be really excited to pore over it and read the script and have a good look at it.
Oh, so cool. Can't wait to see it.
So that's out next week on our 5-year anniversary.
It's amazing. Radiant Platinum says the pages look like a cow with that quality. And Owen's review says, don't worry, we'll fix it in post.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, cool. So, Radiant Black number 40, which we have literally sent to the printer today. It will be out in early March, I believe. Unfortunately, it
First
slipped
week,
one more week on us. Yeah, so it'll be the first week of March. We are working hard to get back on schedule. We're doing our best here. We are juggling, obviously, a million things. And we got a little... we really fell a bit behind with CCXP at the end of the year. And that's the thing, is like, it's a cascading effect, especially when you're talking about a monthly book. So... but 40's done. The guys are moving on to 41 right now. They're starting the layouts. This issue turned out awesome, Michael, and we'll do a deeper dive on it when it comes time, when the release date actually hits. But in the meantime, we can show off a little bit of early artwork here. So this is our A cover by Daniel Bayliss, who is one of my favorite artists. He joined us for some guest pages on Immortal Legend Batman issue 3. Prior to that, Daniel and I worked on Power Rangers together. There was a hot second where, Daniel was gonna do some bigger Power Rangers stuff with us, some grid shattering level stuff with us, and the schedules didn't end up aligning, so he wasn't able to join that particular project with obviously Daniele De Nicolo, Ryan Parrott, Dan Mora, myself. But so thrilled that we were able to get him for covers now. And this A cover is one of my favorites we've done, trumped only by the C cover, which we'll get to in a second. But spoiler alert, it's a virgin version of the A cover. So if you like the art on the A cover, you're going to really love the art on the 1 in 20 C cover. We also have our B cover by Matt Taylor, which is part of our big connecting cover set that we are doing for this arc in particular. I mean, just look at this. Like, how cool is this? I love zooming in to the high res files when we get them. That's probably like the coolest, nerdiest perk for me doing all of these books is like we have like, 400, 500, 600 DPI TIFF files of all of these covers, finished pages we get, and being able to see the brushstrokes that someone like Matt is implementing in a cover like this is just that's that's something that'll never get old for me.
Can I tell you what the equivalent is for me?
Yeah.
It's when you get a lettering file from the letterer and they haven't deleted their like morgue that's off to the side of all of the like bits and chunks of like, oh, this is this special balloon we do, or this is what location captions look like. And you just get like
Yeah.
a full lettered page, and then off to one side is this sprawling mess of like all the weird stuff you've asked them to do over the last 5 years. Delights me every time.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And sometimes we pull things out of that and they become useful in ways that we weren't necessarily expecting.
All the time.
Okay, and here's that C cover. Here's that Virgin variant of Daniel Bayliss. And speaking of brushstrokes in the line art, I mean, just look at that. The stippling effect. It's not halftone, but it's stippling in a way that you would see for like a screen print version. Let me zoom in even more so you can really see this. So cool. I love it so much. This is actually not even doing it justice because this is a lower, I mean, it's a 300 DPI JPEG, but it's still a compressed JPEG. But yeah, so this is our 1 in 20 variant. Like I said, it's a Virgin piece of the A cover. And that brings us to a preview. So page 1, Michael, when we last saw Marshall, the Franklin Group had been implementing raids across the city in the wake of Horizon's near assassination. And now we're dealing with the aftermath of that. And this is a cold open that is should look eerily familiar, especially if you remember and have been picking up Radiant Black since the rebuild kicked off with issue number 31. And in particular here, another look at not only what the city and the world think of Radiant Black, but more significantly, what Marshall is immersing himself in as far as the opinions of Radiant Black go. And this is all coinciding with...
It's important for people to know that this is like 7 hours work to do. It's just, when we're looking at it...
Talk to us about this.
So, we did a similar spread at the end of issue 31 of Marshall getting some news from a ill-reputed website that I will not say the name of. Mm-hmm. And we liked it, and we were really happy with how it came out, and it felt new and fresh and today and exciting. So it felt like an appropriate moment to bring it back. And so what happened is we got Joe to write 2 pages of headlines and social media posts. And Joe did that, and then we sent him a message that was like, hey, Joe, buddy, are you okay? And he said, who can say? Which is why he hasn't been on one of these live streams for a while. And then I began the arduous process of looking up real local Chicago newspapers and putting those, getting their fonts and finding what fonts they use and replicating them in ways that look interesting on the page.
We're seeing in eagle-eyed viewers are talking about a Sabrina reference, Michael. Is there a Sabrina reference?
Yeah,
is there a Sabrina reference in this page?
That's there to distract you from the secret other Easter egg that I put in.
Oh, do I know what that is?
Nope. Sometimes I put surprises in just for Kyle to discover one day when he's looking.
I can't wait to get canceled and not know why.
Well, there is Joe wrote a couple that I did not put on the page. Sometimes Joe writes them and I have to make an editorial decision.
I woke up this morning at 5:30 in the morning I slept on the couch last
Kyle, you
night.
cannot share any of this conversation on the stream.
I'm gonna
It is
no.
simply
I'm just gonna explain my perspective of waking up at 5:30 on the couch because I am going around the clock on this audiobook, and it was just rather than waking up Kelly, it was just easier to just go from my desk 10 feet to the couch and back. But at 5:30 a.m., I rolled over to see 15 alerts on my phone, and one of the craziest conversations I've ever dropped into the middle of, talking about whether we could run a certain headline that I had no idea where this was going, much less what the context for it was. And I don't know,
Well,
Michael. Maybe one
Joe
day if
was
we've got like a
Joe was talking
go
about
ahead.
we need to see all of it to make the joke more obvious, and I was like, no, I intentionally hid it because you wrote a joke the last time we did it that someone at Image was like, hey, we don't do editorial notes. Consider not putting this in the book. And so when I read this one, it's like, we don't ever do this. You can do whatever you want in the book. Just think about if you want to put this in the book, is what happened. So this time I took the initiative to take a joke and hide it a little. So I think you can still get it if you're reading closely, but it's not like right there. And then I had to explain all of that to Joe, who hadn't been involved the last time. It was a long and complicated process.
Yeah, yeah. But this actually brings us to our next page in the issue. If I can get this to work here. Okay. So this brings us to somewhere in the city, Michael, and it's the return of an old friend, and he's made some new friends.
Kieran's having a night out, baby. Sometimes you get to have a night out. He got fired, you know? He doesn't have to worry about all of the serious stuff anymore.
Mm-hmm. This also was my opportunity. I'm going to leave this up full screen so you can read the dialogue. This was my opportunity to make the dumbest sexy Lion King joke I could come up with. And I'm not going to lie, it wasn't hard, but I'm very pleased with it. So it's very rare that you get to make a double entendre Scar reference. But here we are. And sometimes, Michael, we really do get to make our own fun.
That's the whole point.
Just like Kieran. Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, his fun is interrupted by a mean-looking man.
A mean-looking man who's mean mugging in a jacket that Liam Gallagher would be proud of.
It's got a real high collar. It's a good look.
It is a good look. Now, is this a Paulo page, Michael? I think it is.
You know, it's difficult for me to tell at the scale at which I am looking at.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. It might be Paulo. Paulo dos Santos is joining us again on this issue. And actually, the fact that he and Marcelo match so well is like, I mean, it's fantastic. That's always the goal. But we have not actually interacted directly with Paulo yet, Michael, and we need to do that. We need to get him on a live stream.
Yeah, it's fun. It's an interesting thing because sometimes this is just how it works. Is like Marcelo was like, "Hey, I've got this guy. He can help us," and we were like, "Cool. Do you need me to split the issue up between you, or have you got it?" And he was like, "No, we got it. We'll handle it."
Yeah.
And so we just don't need to, like, Marcelo deals with it and they're friends and it's cool. But it is weird to have not talked to him a lot.
MHS Punk says, "It wasn't hard, but I'm very pleased with it." Quote, Kyle Higgins.
Yeah, well, we're going
That's
to
a
clip
stream
that out
highlight.
and put that straight on the Instagram. Absolutely, we are. Yep.
Oh, that's a pull quote if I've ever given one.
Oh, is it too late for me to put it on the front of the issue? No, we've sent it to print already. Damn.
I don't know if you can do a pull quote from the writer. That's like wearing the T-shirt of the band you're in a like
Yeah,
not
that's fair.
ironically cool way.
This one I'm seeing in the chat from Radiant Platinum. How did Marshall know where the gay bar was? I think this is my understanding from Joe that this is a reasonably famous bar. How he knew where Kieran would be is a exercise left to the reader.
Yes. Yeah. And maybe a backup story one day. Actually, that's a pitch for you, Michael.
Marshall just at
Five
16
nights.
different. He's definitely going to be at a gay bar, and Marshall's just got to go around hopping like the Chicago nightlife to try and find him.
It's 5 nights in the life of Kieran.
It's like After
And
Hours, but with Marshall trying to find. No, see, this is the
After
danger because now
Hours,
you're thinking about it.
scars and all. That's what we. That's what we can call it.
Save that for the
Sexy
segment later where you
Blofelds.
pitch me stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's yes. I like the way you think there. Okay, so that's Radiant Black number 40. That just went to the printer today. We have a promo video coming very soon for the issue. Final order cutoff for that is 1 week from today, so on February 9th, the day before our Radiant Black audiobook hits stands, or sorry, hits digital stands, I guess you could say, and 2 days before Radiant Black and White number 1 hits physical stands. Okay. So we've got a few other things here. And speaking of that audiobook, one of the things that obviously we highlighted a few minutes ago on the stream is the deluxe edition and some of those special features. Last week, I showed off an emotional moment with Will in the booth. I have something a little more fun for this week that I thought I'd bring up here, Michael.
I like fun.
Right? It lets me share my screen. There we go. All right. So we should be able to hear this, Michael.
You don't actually have to watch the movie in the bathtub.
But I thought it was a pairing.
Yes, it is, but it's like it's a spiritual pairing. Not roll in the boob tube and get sudsy with Michelle Pfeiffer. All right, look. You fire up the faucet, drop in one of these bad boys, maybe light up a product that we don't carry here, but you know it's legal now. You go ahead. You let yourself be transported. Then you dry off, you throw on this gem from the early 2000s, and you watch in holy terror as pre-agent Coulson Clark Gregg himself makes you think, holy shit! Actors can write. Evening Maid.
What an interesting idea. That's so creative.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm working on a lotion and lamb special for next month. Maybe a Hannibal plus edibles double feature.
Any shot we could swap this out for another bathtub movie? Arthur Lebowski, maybe. Not a big Harrison Ford fan.
Get out.
Awesome. Great. We got
it. I know that kills the cops line, but still.
Don't care. Don't care. I'll alt it. I'll alt it. I'll rewrite it. I'm the fucking writer.
That's right.
Delightful.
He's so good. The funniest thing for me watching this is not realizing I'm doing it in the moment, but if you watch during some of this, I'm mouthing the words and the rhythm and the cadence because I've had this in my head for years, and I'm also in real time sussing out what note I want, like what note or notes I want to give to take things in, a different direction if need be. So you can actually see, you can see me in real time here.
Go ahead. You let yourself be transported. Then you dry off, you throw on this gem from the early 2000s, and you watch in holy terror as pre-agent Coulson Clark Gregg himself makes you think, holy shit! Actors can write. Evening Maid.
What an interesting idea.
There you go.
It's
Which
been
actually
very interesting listening to the audiobook kind of clean. I remember Radiant Black as a whole pretty well. We've been working on it for 5 years now. But real specifics of like lines of dialogue kind of don't really stick. There's some certainly, but you hear it again performed by actors and it's like it's a whole other kind of thing. It's a very odd experience to go back and to hear a thing and be like, wait, is that in the book? Like, is that what the line of dialogue was that we wrote in the book? And then you go back and it's like, yeah, it is, but it felt totally different reading it 5 years ago on a page to hearing these guys perform it out loud.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because Kelly and I were talking about this the other day, where when we first met and she first started reading Radiant Black, we were friends, but we weren't dating or anything, and she didn't really know me from the standpoint of realizing there are aspects of my personality in both characters, right?
Yes.
Once she heard the animated short film with Will voicing Radiant Black, it's like, oh yeah, of course, that's the voice. And so going through that experience now with Ryder as well, that's how I feel with Ryder. Will's always been in my head for it. When we started the book, Ryder was not in my head, but when we decided to do an audiobook, which was like 3 years ago at this point, it was my idea that, oh, no, Ryder, it's got to be Ryder. Like, and just knowing, especially now, I know him much, much better. But even back then, what Will had told me about him and the little bit I did know about him and his career as a writer and a director and just his passions and everything, I felt like, oh, this is very Nathan. Now, the voice is a little more gravelly than you might think, but you want that. You want that contrast. Sorry, it's a little more gravelly than if you were to look at the art, you might think, oh, that's the voice that would come out of that character's mouth. But that's what makes it interesting to me. And the contrast between the two, especially, and then the chemistry that they have as friends and actors, next level. Do you want to see one more clip, Michael?
Just before we do, the most astonishing thing to me was when we were putting together the first hardcover, the Massive Edition Book 1, and Marcelo sent through a page of really early pencil sketches of the guys that I had never seen. And there's one, and it's in the book, and you can see it, of what it would be like if Nathan had a beard. And it's not a dead ringer for Ryder, but it's like, oh, that's the same guy. That's him. I get it. That works.
Absolutely. All right, I've got another video here that I'll show. So this is, we won't watch all of this, but this is a little section from issue number 4, when Nathan and Marshall go out to the cornfields to practice with Nathan's powers.
Okay. Well, here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to let any of this freak us out. We're going to get you ready, so if the time comes, you'll be up to snuff. That first little itty bitty blast you did, that wasn't bad, but you can do better. I know you can. I think you need to get angry.
That's cliched.
Yeah, well, cliches exist for a reason. Maybe you need to feel something, in order to emote something. Think of something that makes you mad. What can somebody say that would piss you off?
Come on, Marshall.
No, come on. I mean it. Your prose sucks. The Oxford comma is overrated. Chandler wishes you'd never read him. JJ would still be around if he knew how to conjugate.
You motherfucker.
That was dope. Also, you just totally swore at me in a weird noise language. I didn't even know you could make that sound.
Huh. Great.
Okay, then. Well, that feels like a productive start. Also, it's just about beer o'clock. What do you think?
I could do one. Gotta snag some groceries after, though.
Ooh, that's going to cost you a second beer.
Deal.
I didn't use conjugate right, did I? Yeah, I didn't think so. I was saying you can't get it up.
Awesome. Got it. Moving on. Okay, so we're walking down the street carrying bags of groceries, and we're going to go watch Out of Sight. Do you ever think about what you'd do with all this?
Like if I grab the black hole thing instead of you?
Yeah.
Of course. I've got 100 ideas. At least 80 of them involve me getting crazy rich. But that's not what happened. You grabbed the thing, and now you're radiant black. Sometimes.
That sounds like an opinion.
Nah, man. It's just you've had these powers for a minute, and you've barely done anything with them. It took me asking how many times before you came out today.
I'm just being cautious. I still don't know what this is.
Counterpoint, you lack vision.
What?
Hey, you've always been good on the page, but never a great ideas guy. I mean, that's okay. That's your prerogative, but you could be doing more. I mean, should be doing more. Yeah, I know. Should be doing more. Probably. Yeah, I mean, I know I would be. Then again, there's probably a lot of things I'd be willing to do that you aren't.
You ever think what you'd do with all this?
Like if I grabbed the black hole thing instead of you?
Yeah.
Of course.
So that's it's a little cut up there at the end, but like again, for the big in the booth segment, you'll actually hear me give notes and give direction. Actually, I do have one more thing video wise, and then we can move on.
One more thing.
And this actually we just recorded. We just recorded tonight. So I'm gonna find it here. Your anger. If I can pull it down here. Let me find it. 1 second, everybody. Michael, do you want to take
While
any
you do
questions
that-
while I'm pulling this up?
Yeah, well, there's actually something in that I want to talk about, which is like,
Yeah.
obviously Will is a long-time professional voice actor. Like, I think he must have been doing it for close to 30 years at this point, right?
He started with
so-
Batman Beyond. Yeah.
So 25 and change, right? Like, probably coming up on 30. It's so interesting to see his ability to know he's flubbed a line and roll back into a retake of it without breaking the, like, knowing that you'll be able to just slice it up and drop it in. It's
Totally.
really like, it's very smart as a professional to be able to do. And you don't think about that kind of thing. Is like in a film, if you screw up a line, it's like, we got to reset, we got to go back to the top of the take, because we probably can't just keep rolling. But he knows you've got silence, you can just shift them around. It's really cool. Cool to see
Yeah,
stuff.
it's that. It's also like on the last session we did, rather than running the scene, I mean, we ran the scene dry once or twice, but then we went line by line, and he just banged out like 3 different takes of each line. And that's the pro level, like, and they're in the same world, but they're 3 different slight variations, and then you give notes, and then you dial it in further. And it's just it's a really cool way to work. So earlier tonight, right before we started the stream, I actually recorded with Bill, Ryan, and TJ, the Circle guys themselves. And I've got a little video of what that looks like, and getting some naturalism. I mean, TJ was doing a killer job already, but this is a little trick that I like to do. You play the scene a few times so they get the words under their feet, and then you throw it away. And then it's about finding the emotion, and then you bring the actual words back. So I'm going to play that for everybody right here.
Before you do, I love that in the chat we've just got "oh boy" in all caps, because that's correct. Can't wait. Let's go.
Oh, wait till you hear the Bill recording, which that one I have to clean up a little bit from before we. All right, here we go.
Radiant Black is a bad guy. He's a villain. And this is all his fault.
It's not. He was flying all over the city. He returned the money that the Red One stole. And he's been flying all over Chicago helping people. Just because he flew away doesn't mean that he was in on it.
But how do we know? How do we really know? We don't know what happened to the money from the Red One. What if he took some of it?
There's nothing to prove that he did anything bad. You just want to be negative. I mean, what kind of proof do we have that he could even be bad? Why even go that far? And why return the money at all? Why not just take all
now
of it?
Look at your phone and read it. Ready? Go.
It's unexpected for sure. I mean, Radiant Black returned all the money that the Red One stole. And for weeks now, he's been flying all over Chicago helping people. There's no way this was on purpose. Just because he flew away doesn't mean he was in on it.
And one more time like that.
It's unexpected for sure. I mean, Radiant Black returned all the money the Red One stole, and for weeks now, he's been flying all over Chicago helping people. There's no way this was on purpose. Just because he flew away doesn't mean he was in on it.
Great, got it.
I feel like that
That's
definitely
awesome,
did help.
dude.
That's a cool
That
trick.
was awesome. Okay.
What was the trick? Tell me. Yeah.
You really think we have the whole story? Maybe Radiant Black was injured in the fight and couldn't fly him to the hospital. You always do this. You're just like assuming you have the whole story and know the situation and what's in someone's head, but you don't know. None of us do.
Okay, that's good. All right, we're gonna take it again. Ready? We've been out here hyping this guy like he's some kind of hometown hero, but he's fucking not. He's the fucking worst.
Bill, you really think we have the whole story? Maybe Radiant Black was injured in the fight and couldn't fly him to the hospital. You always do this. You're just like assuming you know the whole situation and what's in somebody's head, but you don't know. None of us do.
All right, now put it down. Look at me. Ready? This guy is the absolute fucking worst, and literally no one can convince me otherwise. He is fucking in on it, and he is the problem.
Why would you say that though? I mean, maybe he was injured in the fight. Maybe he couldn't get away. Maybe that's why he flew away. I mean, you always think you know everything. You're always so arrogant. You always think that you have the answers, but you don't have the answers. None of us have the answers. None of us were there. None of us know what's going on, and we can't assume things.
And now keep going, but this time like this is 15 years in the making of telling Bill off. Okay. I'm telling you, I have never been more certain of anything in my life. Radiant Black is the problem, and if you guys disagree with me, you're all fucking idiots.
I guess then we're all fucking idiots then, because you're definitely wrong. I mean, you have nothing to go off of. Just like usual, you're always just popping off at the mouth, and you have no idea what you're talking about, and you just want to be negative. You want to tear people down, and you want to be fucking negative, just like always.
It's so funny to make a guy memorize dunks you wrote about his best friend. It's just
Right.
That's objectively a funny thing to make someone do.
By the way, they loved it. The
Of course
fact
they
that
did.
also that the TJ's in headphones and Bill can't hear the notes I'm giving, and TJ's like, "Oh, that's a great trick." And Bill's like, "What's the trick? What's the trick?" And no one's telling him. And then he got on the mic with headphones, and we had our own. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you my pitch that we should not get these three guys to play themselves and we should heavily stunt cast them? Did we talk about that?
Oh, we talked about it, and I definitely told them, and they don't want to speak to you for the rest of your life, whether you're a
That's
part of
fine.
existence or not. Yeah.
That's fine. I understand. I just
right,
think
last thing.
if we could have gotten like, who is it who does that Smartless podcast? It's like Jason Bateman and two of his friends. If we could have gotten, think about the star power we could have fit in. Is all I'm saying.
Right. Oh man. Okay, I've got one last thing, and then we'll move on. We'll hit we'll do a segment. I think we have some stuff in the. If you want to pull up the Discord, Michael, while I'm doing this, I think there's some spicy takes in there for us to look at. And we might punt on the me pitching you one more time because I have a few concepts, but I want to actually spend proper time doing this for next week. But while you pull that up, I am going to pull this up. Okay. Here we go. All right. So there's no video for this. But do you think people would want to hear how the robot sounds?
Yeah, probably.
All right. Do you guys want to hear how the robot sounds? Throw one in the chat if you want to hear the robot. I think they want to hear the robot, Michael.
Fair enough. Let's hear the robot.
Let's give the people what they want.
Digital brain, organic brain, integration, language centers, sync, incomplete, in progress, relationship, partnership, sync, incomplete, in progress. Communication is fundamental to any all good relationships.
Sure. Yeah.
All connection is final, permanent, for the duration of your life existence. But war is near. Soon, for the Radiant, he will kill you and your entire planet. To die is to lose everything. Will you do all that is required to save your species? Will you take his life?
That's a
What do
big
you think?
robot.
It's a big robot. Yep. And again, that's just dry dialogue. I mean, it's not dry because I'm processing it and modulating it out. It's stereoized, and there's a bunch of things going on under the hood, but it's going to be even bigger if you're listening to the stream in headphones. Assuming this goes out stereo, you'll probably hear it in your headphones. It's wide in a way that the rest of the audiobook is more narrow. Existence itself is very vast, and that's on purpose, the contrast between the two. So once the cosmic ambiences, when you hear the cosmic ambiences in there, it's absolutely otherworldly. And yeah, really can't wait for this to not only be done, but for everyone else to hear it. Okay. All right. So, Michael, what do we got? Anything in the Discord?
I don't think we have any hot takes. I think people are too afraid of me and my sensible opinions.
Ooh. Okay.
That's my position.
No massive versus hot takes.
No.
All
we do
right.
have a general question, and I'll take this one from here, and then we might take some other questions. From Anomaly616. Will we ever see the return of Circle Guy News in a future issue of Radiant Black, a Marshall School of Business at the very least? Yeah, almost certainly, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's
they'll be
just
back. Actually, we have a specific plan for them. Yeah.
Yeah, the current space that they're in is like quite heavy, and they're very fun. So it's tricky to squeeze them in, but they'll be back for sure. We have a cover of the week pitch, Kyle, and it's actually one that you've already showed. It's our Inferno Girl Red C variant. Can you bring that back up?
I absolutely can. Hold on, let me.
Because I can talk a little bit
down.
about the process for briefing Joe and how we got this.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Let me share this. Okay. Actually, let me see if I can make you. I wonder if I can make you the primary on this.
Oh no, don't make me the primary on this.
Don't make him the primary?
Oh no, make the cover the primary, surely. One
No, it
day
makes
we'll learn
me
how the
the-
technology works.
Well, the problem is there's a lot of problems, but this particular problem is, again, like we said, our pipeline. I love recording in this platform, but man, it is not great for live stuff. Okay, it's up though now.
Great. So when we started getting to work on the Inferno Girl Red Book 2 Kickstarter, we knew we wanted a bunch of pieces of art for prints by female and non-binary artists. And we also knew that we were likely to do those as covers on the inevitable single issue print issues when we got to those down the line. So Matt and I sat down with a plan of like what sort of stuff we wanted to do and what we wanted to get, you know, definitely some of like the alternate Inferno girls from across history. We knew we wanted that to be a cover. We knew we wanted like Cassia and her friends as a cover. And one of them was Cassie is part of the Massiveverse. We want a cover with her hanging out with the other main characters in that universe. I personally have a real love of a helmetless Power Ranger. I think it like, not in the sense that I would want your sort of tokusatsu henshin heroes to always not have helmets. I think the helmets are great. But I think full body suit, helmet off, holding helmet gets you the best of both worlds. It gets you that full like iconography of the design, and also gets you a human face that can talk and emote and interact and do different stuff. So I think what I pitched to Joe was like, helmet, like it's these four guys, they're hanging out, maybe they're in their costumes, maybe they're in civilians, they've got some way of indicating who they are. I don't know what exactly it will be, but something like that. Go for it. I when it's someone who we've worked with a bunch before, like I'm not here to be specific and prescriptive. The reason we're coming to someone like Joe is I know she can do it. So I don't want to like give you a bunch of rules beyond here's what we're looking for. So we did that. And I mean, we got this, and you can see like There's some really delightful stuff to me. Like on the back wall, you can see everybody's symbols are stuck up, except Cassia's, which is like muraled on the wall in the back right. Everyone's in civilian outfits that I believe are just straight from the book, from their individual books, I mean. Everybody's got the helmets so you can tell who they are if you're not familiar with them. And also, they just look so cool and fun. They look like a cool gang of folks.
They do. They do. No notes. No notes for me.
No.
I want to hang out with them. I don't know
Yeah.
what BB's drinking, but I want some.
It's a Sklump. Sklump's the name of a energy drink brand in the Massiverse. That's canon now. Sklump, with a K,
Sklump?
SKLUMP.
Mm-hmm.
The mascot is sort of like a slug creature. He's like,
So she's a
have a
Sklumper?
Sklump. That's him.
It reminds me of the Futurama. What's the?
That's
do you
Slurm.
remember
That's
this?
totally different. It's nothing to do with that. This is Sklump. It's completely legally distinct.
Absolutely legally distinct. Like, let me down the lens. Let me be clear. It is beyond absolutely legally distinct from Slurm.
It's Sklump. Exclamation
Sklump.
mark.
Get your Sklump on.
It tastes like
Okay.
something. That's their tagline.
Who could say? It's the chicken of energy drinks.
That's complicated. I don't know that we can say that. Because chicken has nutritional value and Sklump famously does not. No nutritional
that's
value.
actually
That's
one
their
of its-
second tagline.
One of its selling points. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, why don't we take a few questions before we call it for the evening here? And I promise you, we're saying it on stream right now, Michael. We're gonna hold you and me accountable to this. By next week, well, no, I can't even say it with a straight face, but hopefully we will have our internet stuff figured out and maybe even a camera figured out. And if not next week, then in a week in the future, at some
Definitely
point.
a week for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we will get there. We will get there. But I really do love this format and getting the newsletter out and being able to do the audio edition of this stream as Massiverse Live proper. I've already heard from a number of people who have appreciated that and have been downloading it audio only. I can see the numbers as well. So I think we found at the very least our cadence of release and regularity. And now we just gotta up the fidelity. That's our secondary tagline. Fidelity up, I think is the actual descriptive term. No, I think we can make something of that. Okay. All right. If you've got any comments for us, throw them in the chat. We'll take a handful here, and we will dive in. And next week I will have a Sklump pitch. That is what I will be bringing in to the equation. Where does Sklump come from?
At EXP204
Some know.
asks how much Red 40 is in Sklump, and the answer is about 80%. It's really, it's ill-advised. You shouldn't drink. And the worst part is, it's not red. It's not a red drink. How do they do that? You don't want to know. It's the other 20%.
I had a friend growing up who, he's like valedictorian, but also like a next level, like state award-winning sprinter. Incredibly smart guy, also named Kyle, but had a thing with Red 40. And none of us knew in the early 2000s that was actually a thing. And he kept telling us, no, I can't have Red 40. I go crazy. And then we gave him some red vines, and boy, was it an experience. He was... I suddenly understood how he was such a good sprinter.
It was all the Sklump.
It was all the Sklump, man. All the Sklump. Okay, those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those up. Thanks, CJ. I don't disagree.
All right, Carl,
Okay.
do you want me to do some questions? I've got the chat in front of me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'm going to jump back a little. Why don't we go to here? Let's have a look. Michael, how much stock do you have in Sklump? None. None. I don't think you should be drinking it. I'm shorting Sklump. I know what that is. I'm watching industry and I'm smart and I know how money works. So I've got shorts on. Yeah, let's go with that. Any Rogue Sun shorts for the next issue incoming? Kyle, I think we got one incoming at the moment.
Yeah, we are planning a Rogue Sun short coming up. We actually, you and I gotta coordinate on dates off stream so I can make sure that we get that turned around with Johnny. So
Yep.
honestly, as you can tell by just kind of our cadence right now with the audiobook going on, it's kind of like it's a huge priority. And so some of the additional stuff that we usually do has fallen not by the wayside, but it's just a little bit further down the kind of like list of importance, I
Yeah.
guess I would say.
And that's also a good answer for Owen's reviews question. A holiday themed variant covers a possibility like Halloween or Christmas. I would love to. I genuinely would love to do the Supermassive Christmas special one day. I have a genuine pitch for the Supermassive swimsuit special. The problem with it is timing. Well, first of all,
Yeah.
obviously the problem with that sort of thing is like just bandwidth and our ability to do anything more than the things that we're currently doing. But
Well, also
the-
Marshall stopped eating dairy, but we don't know for how long. So
and you don't
as
know
far
what he
as-
started eating instead. So you really don't. It's spoilers. It's mostly Sklump. But all of which is to say, like, the thing is that if an issue slips, we don't like it, but it is not the end of the world. But if an issue slips and it's got a cover with Marshall in a Santa suit on the front, and it doesn't come out until February, everyone's going to feel really silly. So as much as that is something that I would really love to do as a bit one day, it requires us to get our stuff together a little bit more first. So possibly in the near future, hopefully, but not right this second.
Yeah. MHS Punk has pointed out, Michael, that Sklump is very likely the Four Loko from the Second Earth.
Well, the Second Earth is the same as this Earth. So unless they changed it during the 2 months of the Catalyst War, for some reason, they decided that Four Loko was an inappropriate name and they changed it to Sklump. I guess that's possible. That's a thing that happens.
I mean, one day we'll talk about what Dynamex's name used to be. Spoiler alert,
Sklump.
it's not Sklump, but they were absolutely the consultants of note for the Sklump rebrand, for sure.
Who what? Yeah. I mean, the truth is that everybody got pulled in on Sklump, right? They got all of the agencies. It's a huge deal. We've got to stop talking about Sklump. This has become simply absolute nonsense.
It was an all hands, feet, and tentacles on deck situation to solve the crisis of Sklump in a post-Red 40 world. More on that next week.
No, there won't be. From Carmen Jojo, any advice for becoming a comic writer? And yes, I do. Write small stuff that you can finish.
Piggybacking on that, fall in love with doing anything else.
It's hard.
Is that not the good advice?
It's hard. Comics is hard. But you can make comics and not make it your life. And I would recommend that if you love comics.
Yeah. I'm being very facetious here. But it is hard. Yeah. And the other thing is, like, we talk about this all the time. I think a little known tidbit that people don't talk about too often, and it doesn't happen to everyone, but it absolutely happened to me in a way that surprised me, which is that often the price of admission to do something like writing comics as your career, the price of admission often is your fandom and your love for the very thing that you are pursuing becoming a professional at doing. And that's not to say that you will end up hating comics or hating superheroes or anything like that. It's just that your relationship with not only the material, but also the medium and the genre will absolutely change. And the irony is, the better you get as a writer and a creator, the more that relationship will change and grow beyond the very points of inspiration that made you want to pursue this in the first place. At least that's what happened to me. It's what happened to a number of my friends. And sometimes I think back and, you know, I can't remember a time when comics weren't a part of my life. I never wanted to write comics for a living. I never even really wanted to write comics as a, just as a thing to do. I wanted to make movies. But I have loved comics my entire life. And so when the opportunity came about to actually write comics, it was like, well, I'm not going to say no to that. Are you kidding? It's a path I didn't think would ever be open to me, much less something I could do. My relationship with comics has changed fundamentally as a result, though. And I think back to those times quite a bit. And sometimes I do mourn what I lost as far as my fandom. And it's not to say that like I would do anything differently or I wish I could undo it. I think it's just, it's a part of the craft and the pursuit of the craft that it's not fun to think about, but it is something to, that does come up. And I think it's probably something to be aware of so that you go into that pursuit with your eyes open, because that old adage of like, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life is 100% not true. If you do something you love, you will work every day of your life. And being a writer, and especially being a comic book writer, a freelance comic book writer, it's like having homework for the rest of your life. Full stop. Like it never, ever, ever stops. And unfortunately, in comics in particular, we don't get paid what the work really warrants. And so that means you are constantly stretched too thin and chasing too much work because it's feast or famine. And a book might end suddenly, or a relationship with editorial might change, and suddenly work that you thought you could count on isn't there anymore, or something happens and you have to step off of a project, and that changes your outlook for the year or your income, and it's hard. It's a hard way to make a living. So to bring it full circle, because now I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but that is the inherent contradiction. You have to love it. But I'm not talking about just loving comics as a medium or a genre of, or superheroes or whatever as the genre of comics. You have to love the process of creating, and you have to be able to divorce yourself from the qualifiers and the quantifiers and the metrics that you would associate with success, i.e., well, I want to be a comic book writer because I want to, I want my books to, I want to be a New York Times bestselling author. I want, accolades. I want respect. I want money. I want to work on these favorite characters of mine. Because often, even when you land those favorite characters, it's A, not the experience you thought it would be, and B, it changes your relationship with said characters. And C, I would argue, if you only want to write certain characters, that's not really being a writer. Like there's a more refined way of framing that. Mark Guggenheim talked about this on a panel at New York Comic Con, which is like, if you only have ideas for Batman, then I would say maybe writing comics or being a writer isn't for you. And that's okay. Like, you find stories for Batman when you need to find stories for Batman, but you also find stories that are original and things that are new and other characters and other gigs and things like that. So I think the key, because I talk about process quite a bit, and to piggyback on what Michael said, starting small, writing shorter stories, shorter than you would ever imagine, because you're going to finish things, you're going to put them out there. I talk about that stuff all the time. What I rarely talk about, though, is kind of like the psychological component of pursuing this type of career. Now, would I trade it for anything? Well, maybe directing. But other than a career directing the types of movies that I still want to make, I wouldn't trade this for anything. I've been doing it full time for 15 years, but I got to tell you, it's taken years off my life, and it's really, really hard. So go into it, eyes wide open. If you can't think of anything else that will make you happy, then pursue this. But also, please, 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 especially for anyone younger than me, start prioritizing taking care of yourself and your health now. Get yourself in shape, exercise regularly, create healthy habits, diet habits as
Don't
well.
play
Not
basketball.
diet.
Whatever you do not play basketball.
Over 30, don't. From personal experience, let me tell you, 6 knee surgeries later. And be careful getting on stage at Power Ranger conventions, because you can tear an ACL real easy before a live table read.
Let's have a fun one. Question from Mason Kuntz. What are your thoughts on the Star Wars prequels? There's one good movie buried in those 3 movies. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I'd agree with
Duel
that.
of the Fates rocks. Pod Race rocks. There's a bunch of cool stuff in them. There's also a lot of junk.
I've never seen the Machete Cut, but I really want to see the Machete Cut. Is that the name of it? It's the Topher Grace cut where he combines. Does he combine the first 3 the prequels into one movie? It's something like that.
It's something very much like that. I don't remember exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have anything else in here, Michael?
Sure, probably. Since we're getting Medieval Spawn versus Rogue Sun, when are we getting Bone versus No One? I'd love to do Bone versus No One. In my head, it would be a real spy versus spy type deal. Like,
Yeah.
Bone gets to operate on cartoon logic, and No One's got, like, tasers and batons and is trying to deal with him, and Bone is fine. Can we email Jeff Smith? I think that would be a lot of fun to do as a one-shot.
I see absolutely no reason why Jeff would email us back.
Yeah, that's fair. But he might. The thing about comics is he might.
That's true. I just found out yesterday someone is a fan of ours, Michael. Well, I told you this off stream, and I can't say who it is now. But someone is a fan of ours and our work that was genuinely surprising and shocking to me.
Crazy thing you told me yesterday.
Yeah, and they're also not in comics. But it's one day, if the thing that I'm kind of talking around a little bit ever comes to be, I will circle back on the stream and I will explain what it was. But
I guarantee the names you're thinking, listeners, you're incorrect. Guaranteed. 100% sure.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Carl, we should probably wrap it up, right?
I think so. I got to eat some dinner. I've got another couple hours of cutting on the audiobook to do. I shouldn't say cutting. It's not cutting. It's full sound effects and ambiances. But I think that'll do it, as you said, for this week. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another Monday night edition of Massiveverse Live. The audio version of this episode will go out tomorrow through the newsletter. If you are subscribed to the Black Market newsletter, don't worry. The audio episodes, they're not going to blow up your inbox or anything. They are set up as their own section of the newsletter, which you can subscribe to if you do want those updates for the Massiveverse Live episodes. Otherwise, we'll still just put out our weekly. I mean, we always shoot for weekly, and then weeks go by and it's not weekly edition of the Black Market newsletter. We are back on a pretty good weekly cadence, though. So the next edition of the newsletter will go out If not on Friday, then definitely at the top of next week, in advance of or time to the Radiant Black audiobook going on sale. Until then, you can find Michael and myself on our Discord, Black Market Discord, which you can find a link to in the show notes here. If you haven't joined our community yet, please jump in. The best is yet to come as we are building further and further, hopefully, community ties there with all of the cool new stuff we've got coming up. And we're going to be planning a watch party pretty soon. So there will be some cool stuff that we're going to be doing specifically on that platform. Again, as I said, community is a big thing for us. So can't thank you all enough for the support and tuning in. Subscribe to the newsletter, hit like and subscribe on the stream. And until next week, everybody stay radiant.